In the quiet morning hours of January 4, 2007, the residents of Campus Crossings Apartments in Durham, North Carolina, were beginning their day, unaware that tragedy was about to strike in their midst. Denita Monique Smith, a 25-year-old graduate student at North Carolina Central University, was known for her vibrant spirit and promising future. As she descended the stairs from her apartment, an unknown assailant approached from behind and fired a single-like fatal shot to the back of her head. Her lifeless body was discovered moments later, her belongings strewn across the steps, painting a grim picture of her final moments. In this true crime story, we will explore the life of Denita Smith, the events leading up to her untimely death, and the subsequent investigation and trial that sought justice for her. Through interviews, court records, and personal accounts, we aim to shed light on this tragic case of love, betrayal, and loss. Denita Monique Smith was born in 1981 to parents Sharon Elaine Cook and Calvin Lee Smith. Growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, Denita exhibited a passion for storytelling and a keen eye for photography from a young age. These interests naturally led her to pursue a career in journalism. After graduating from West Charlotte High School in 2000, Denita enrolled at North Carolina Central University, NCCU in Durham. There, she pursued a bachelor's degree in English, immersing herself in the campus community and contributing to the university student newspaper as a photojournalist. Her peers and professors recognized her as a dedicated student with an unwavering commitment to her craft. Upon completing her undergraduate studies, Denita decided to further her education by enrolling in NCCU's graduate program. She aimed to refine her skills and aspired to make a significant impact in the field of journalism. Balancing her academic responsibilities, Denita also took on roles that showcased her leadership abilities, including mentoring undergraduate students and participating in various campus organizations. In her personal life, Denita was known for her warm and compassionate nature. Friends described her as someone who always had a smile on her face and was willing to lend a helping hand. Her close friend Edith Kearns recalled how Denita would often volunteer at local community centers, using her photography skills to capture moments at events and workshops. It was during her time at NCCU that Denita met Jermaire Stroud, a police officer based in Greensboro, North Carolina. Their relationship blossomed over shared values and mutual respect. Jermaire was often seen attending university events with Denita, supporting her endeavors and integrating himself into her circle of friends. As Denita continued to excel academically and plan her future with Jermaire, she remained unaware of the looming threat. Her days were filled with attending classes, working on her thesis, and capturing the world through her camera lens. She often spoke to her friends about her dreams of traveling the world as a photojournalist, documenting stories that mattered. In the weeks leading up to January 4, 2007, Denita was busy preparing for a photo exhibition on campus. She had spent countless hours selecting and editing photographs, eager to share her perspective with the university community. Friends noted that she seemed particularly happy during this period, often discussing her future plans and the possibility of starting a family with Jermaire. On the morning of January 4th, Denita left her apartment at Campus Crossings, likely heading to the university to finalize details for her exhibition. As she descended the staircase, she was approached from behind and fatally shot. Her untimely death sent shockwaves through the community, leaving many to wonder how such a promising life could be cut short so abruptly. In the aftermath, as investigators delved into Denita's personal life, they discovered hidden connections and the hidden tensions that began to surface, painting a clearer picture of the events that led to that tragic morning. As aforementioned, the crime took place in the morning of January 4, 2007. The tranquility of Campus Crossings Apartments in Durham, North Carolina, was shattered. Residents were starting their day unaware of the tragedy that had just occurred within their community. At approximately 10 a.m., a maintenance worker discovered the lifeless body of 25-year-old Denita Monique Smith at the base of an outdoor stairwell. She lay face down, her belongings scattered around her. Initially, it appeared she might have suffered a fatal fall. However, upon closer examination, it became evident that this was no accident. Denita had been shot in the back of the head. The single gunshot wound was fatal, and there were no immediate signs of a struggle. The lack of witnesses and the seemingly execution-style nature of the crime left investigators with more questions than answers. Detectives from the Durham Police Department arrived promptly, cordoning off the area and beginning their meticulous search for evidence. The crime scene offered little in the way of physical clues. There was no weapon found, no obvious signs of a confrontation, and the immediate vicinity yielded minimal forensic evidence. As news of Denita's death spread, those who knew her were in disbelief. She was a graduate student at North Carolina Central University, known for her dedication to journalism and her vibrant personality. The senselessness of the act left the community in mourning and the police under pressure to find answers. Investigators began by delving into Denita's personal life, seeking any leads that could explain such a heinous act. They learned of her engagement to Jermaire Stroud, a Greensboro police officer. Interviews with friends and family painted a picture of a loving relationship, with no apparent issues that could lead to such violence. However, as they dug deeper, detectives uncovered a complex web of relationships. Jermaire had previously been involved with Shannon Crawley, a 911 dispatcher from Greensboro. Shannon was aware of Jermaire's engagement to Denita, and it became evident that tensions had been simmering beneath the surface. The investigation took a significant turn when a maintenance worker reported seeing a woman leaving the scene shortly after the gunshot was heard. She was described as distraught, crying, and was seen driving away in a Ford Explorer. This account provided a crucial lead. Further inquiries revealed that Shannon Crawley owned a vehicle matching that description. When questioned, Shannon claimed she had never met Denita and had no reason to harm her. She provided an alibi, stating she was at home caring for her sick child on the morning of the murder. Despite her assertions, inconsistencies began to emerge. A co-worker disclosed that Shannon had recently purchased a .38 caliber revolver, the same caliber believed to have been used in the shooting. Additionally, gunshot residue was found on the steering wheel and gear shift of her vehicle, suggesting recent discharge of a firearm. Cell phone records further contradicted Shannon's statements. Data indicated that her phone had pinged off towers near the crime scene on the day before and the day of the murder, despite her claims of never being in Durham. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, the evidence increasingly pointed towards Shannon Crawley. On January 9, 2007, 5 days after Denita's death, Shannon was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The arrest provided some answers, but also raised new questions. What could have driven someone to commit such a calculated act? As the case progressed, the courtroom would become the stage where these questions sought resolution, and the true depths of the tragedy would be revealed. In the days following the tragic death of Denita Smith, the Durham Police Department intensified their investigation, determined to uncover the truth behind the senseless act. The initial lack of physical evidence at the crime scene posed a significant challenge, but investigators were resolute in their pursuit of justice. Detective Sean Pate led the investigation, meticulously piecing together the events surrounding Denita's death. Early on, a crucial lead emerged from Michael Hedgepeth, the maintenance director at Campus Crossings Apartments. Hedgepeth recounted hearing a gunshot on the morning of January 4, 2007, and subsequently observing a distraught woman near the 1100 building of the complex. He described her as a tall black female with a ponytail who hastily departed in a burgundy SUV. This account provided investigators with their first tangible lead. Stroud disclosed that he had previously been involved with Shannon Crawley, a 911 dispatcher in Greensboro. Their relationship had ended, but Crawley was aware of his engagement to Denita. This revelation added a new dimension to the investigation. Investigators reached out to Crawley for an interview. She claimed to have no knowledge of Denita and provided an alibi for the morning of the murder, stating she had taken her child to a doctor's appointment. However, inconsistencies soon emerged. The pediatrician confirmed that Crawley had missed the appointment, contradicting her statement. Further scrutiny revealed that Crawley owned a burgundy Ford Explorer matching the vehicle described by Hedgepeth, the maintenance worker. When questioned about her whereabouts on January 4th, Crawley insisted she had never been to Durham. Yet, cell phone records told a different story. Data indicated that her phone had pinged off towers near campus crossings on the day before and the day of the murder, suggesting her presence in the area. After Shannon Crawley's arrest and charge with first-degree murder in the death of Denita Smith, the legal proceedings that ensued would span several years, culminating in a trial that sought to uncover the truth behind the tragic event. The trial commenced in February 2010, with the prosecution presenting a case built upon a foundation of jealousy and premeditation. They argued that Crawley, unable to reconcile with the end of her relationship with Jermaire Stroud and envious of his engagement to Denita, meticulously planned and executed the murder. Central to the prosecution's case was the testimony of Michael Hedgepeth, the maintenance director at Campus Crossings Apartments. He recounted hearing a gunshot on the morning of January 4, 2007, and subsequently observing a woman running from the vicinity of the 1100 building. Hedgepeth described the woman as a tall black female with a ponytail who departed in a burgundy SUV, a description that matched Crawley and her vehicle. Further bolstering the prosecution's argument were cell phone records indicating that Crawley's phone had pinged off towers near the crime scene on the day of the murder, contradicting her initial claims of never being in Durham. Additionally, a co-worker testified that Crawley had recently purchased a .38 caliber revolver, the same caliber used in the shooting. In a surprising move, Crawley took the stand in her own defense. She presented a narrative that shifted the blame onto Jermaire Stroud, alleging that he had coerced her into accompanying him to Durham on the morning of the murder. Crawley claimed that Stroud threatened her and her children, forcing her to drive him to Denita's apartment complex. She testified that upon arrival, Stroud exited the vehicle, and moments later, she heard a gunshot before he returned, instructing her to drive away. Under cross-examination, the prosecution challenged Crawley's account, highlighting inconsistencies and emphasizing Stroud's verified alibi, which placed him in Greensboro at the time of the murder. They argued that Crawley's narrative was a fabrication designed to deflect blame. In their closing arguments, the prosecution reiterated the motive of jealousy and the premeditated nature of the crime. They emphasized the evidence linking Crawley to the scene and the inconsistencies in her statements. The defense, conversely, urged the jury to consider the possibility of Stroud's involvement and posited that Crawley was a victim of manipulation. After deliberating, the jury yet again found Shannon Crawley guilty of first-degree murder. Superior Court Judge Ronald Stevens sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Crawley remained silent during sentencing, offering no statement. Denita Smith's parents addressed Crawley directly in the courtroom. Her mother expressed the profound loss and void left by Denita's death, stating, "Because of what Shannon did, there is a void. You took her away from me." She continued, "Someday I may forgive you, but right now I don't, and I hope you rot in hell. You're vile. You don't deserve to be a mother." The trial's conclusion provided a measure of closure for Denita's family and friends, yet the emotional scars and sense of loss endured. The case stands as a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of jealousy and the fragility of human relationships. The tragic loss of Denita Monique Smith on January 4, 2007, sent shockwaves through her family, friends, and the broader community. A vibrant 25-year-old graduate student at North Carolina Central University, NCCU, Denita was on the cusp of a promising future in journalism. Her untimely death left an indelible void in the lives of those who knew and loved her. Denita's family was devastated by the sudden and violent nature of her passing. Her mother, Sharon Smith, grappled with the profound loss of her only daughter. In the courtroom, during the trial of Shannon Crawley, Sharon addressed the court, expressing the depth of her grief and the irreplaceable void left by Denita's absence. She stated, "Because of what Shannon did, there is a void. You took her away from me." This poignant statement underscored the personal and enduring impact of the tragedy on Denita's immediate family,